Archangel Michael says, "There is a message that must reach your heart today, for it carries a weight that heaven has been holding close for so long, and if you allow yourself to embrace it fully, you will begin to see that the moment you are living right now is not an ordinary one but a turning point that will shape the rest of your life in ways you could never have imagined, for the Lord Himself has set His eyes upon you with tenderness, mercy, and the unshakable promise that you were created with a divine purpose that no storm can erase and no shadow can steal." Type 999 if you trust Jesus with all your heart. Your soul has walked through valleys where sorrow seemed endless, and you have carried burdens that made you wonder if God had stepped away, yet every tear that left your eyes was counted, every sigh was heard, and each struggle became a quiet molding of your spirit into something far greater, for the trials that pressed against you were never meant to destroy you but to reveal the light that was already planted deep within you. A light that only needed the refining of time, the strength of faith, and the touch of God's unfailing hand to awaken into its fullness. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you believe God's love is forever. Do not let fear convince you that tomorrow holds darkness, for the Lord walks before you as a shepherd leads his flock, guiding with love, guarding with strength, and carrying you when your steps falter, and though your eyes may not always see the path clearly, your heart can rest in the certainty that it is held in His palms, where no harm can reach it and no trial can undo the care that keeps it secure. Type 1414 if you believe in divine protection. Each breath you take is a reminder that God has chosen to sustain you, not because of anything the world has measured you by, but because His love has always been greater than your doubts, stronger than your pain, and deeper than your failings. And in this love you are invited to rest, to breathe, to lift your head once more, and to remember that you were created not as an accident of chance but as a reflection of heaven's design, woven with purpose, meaning, and eternal promise. Hidden within your mind is the ability to shift from stress toward freedom. This sound frequency is designed to gently awaken those inner signals, helping you feel aligned with success and possibility. People describe feeling lighter, more positive, and ready to embrace new opportunities. Click the link in the video description and comments below to experience this journey for yourself and open the door to abundance flowing into your life. When you look back on the days that once seemed unbearable, you will begin to see the threads of grace that were holding everything together, even when your hands felt empty, for God was never distant but working quietly behind the curtain of your struggles, turning broken pieces into a mosaic of healing, using pain to create compassion, and planting seeds of wisdom that would one day grow into a harvest of peace and strength beyond anything you imagined yourself capable of carrying. The Lord whispers to you now that this is not a season to shrink in fear but a sacred hour to rise in faith, for every weight you have carried has prepared you for a breakthrough that only faith can unlock. And though storms have tested you and voices of doubt have tried to silence you, your life has always been moving toward this moment of divine awakening, where the chains of yesterday are broken, and the light of tomorrow shines brighter than the sorrow of the past. You are not walking alone through these roads of uncertainty, for heaven walks beside you with every step, and the love of Christ encircles you like a shield, whispering into the quiet chambers of your heart that you are beloved, you are chosen, and you are never forgotten, for His arms have always been stretched wide to receive you, even in the times you thought you were unworthy. And his embrace does not release you when the night grows heavy but holds you closer still until morning breaks, with fresh hope. This life you carry is not simply a passing of days but a sacred journey designed by the Lord to reveal the beauty of His grace within your story, and though there are scars upon your heart, they are not marks of defeat but testimonies of survival, reminders that even in your weakest moments you were never abandoned, for God's mercy was covering you, His strength was surrounding you, and His Spirit was breathing life into you when all else seemed lost. Type 1313 to affirm strength through the Lord. And so, take this moment as heaven's gentle call, urging you to open your heart fully today, for if you let this word pass by, you risk missing a divine turning point that has been prepared especially for you, a moment when the heavens pour out blessing, healing, and renewal, not because of what you have done but because of who you are to God, His beloved child, whose life is destined to shine as a witness of His goodness, a vessel of His love, and a reflection of His eternal promise. Archangel Michael says, as the light of heaven reaches toward you once again, let your soul open wider to receive the truth that has been waiting patiently to enter your heart, because this day carries with it a sacred weight that cannot be overlooked, for it is not simply another step in time but a turning of the page in your life story where God Himself writes new beginnings, healing chapters, and victories that will erase the shadows of yesterday, reminding you that you were never forgotten even in the longest nights of silence. The Father speaks through this moment with gentle authority, calling you by name and reminding you that every trial you faced was not in vain, for each hardship became a teacher, shaping your spirit into resilience, and every disappointment became a seed of wisdom that now blossoms into strength. And although you may have thought you were being broken, what was truly happening was the careful molding of your heart into something that reflects heaven's endurance, compassion, and light. Every scar upon your soul tells a story not of failure but of survival, for even when you could not see the way forward, you still walked in faith, and even when your prayers felt unanswered, they were echoing into eternity, weaving threads of grace that would one day return as blessings overflowing into your life. And now that time is drawing near, because what was once withheld for your growth is now being released for your renewal, and heaven is eager to pour into your hands what your spirit has long been prepared to hold. Do not let fear whisper lies that you are unworthy of such love, because the truth of God's heart declares otherwise, saying that you are cherished, chosen, and lifted higher with every passing moment, and even the days when you felt unseen were watched tenderly by the eyes of heaven, where angels carried your tears like treasures and laid them at the feet of the one who formed you, reminding Him that His child was calling, His child was yearning, and His child was waiting for the breakthrough that only His touch could bring. Remain until the very last word, for heaven has been waiting to whisper this truth into your soul. Type 1212 if you know God is guiding your steps. You must understand now that what feels like weakness is not your end but the very place where God's power becomes visible, because your surrender allows His Spirit to rise within you, your brokenness becomes the soil for His healing, and your emptiness becomes the vessel that He fills with unshakable peace. And though you may not realize it, every season of waiting has been an unseen preparation, every pause has been a gathering of strength, and every delay has been a doorway leading you closer to the destiny that cannot be stolen. Heaven is asking you today not to turn away, because this hour is sacred and cannot be dismissed as ordinary, for it is filled with divine timing, where the hand of God reaches into your life with love that restores, power that heals, and grace that renews even the deepest places of your heart. And if you open yourself fully, you will see that the very moments you once thought were endings were actually beginnings dressed in disguise, waiting for the right time to bloom into beauty. Your heart may still carry fears of tomorrow, yet heaven assures you that tomorrow does not hold power over you, for the one who holds time itself walks before you, clearing paths that seemed blocked, removing stones that once caused you to stumble, and opening doors that no human hand can close. And because of this you can walk forward with courage, knowing that your life is not left to chance but is secured in the promises of a God whose love cannot fail. There is a wave of sound that many believe helps create space for abundance to enter. It's like tuning your thoughts to a higher vibration, where struggle feels lighter and hope feels stronger. This simple practice can guide you toward peace, clarity, and the mindset for prosperity. Click the link in the description and comments below to experience this sound and allow your life to welcome new blessings today. Even when your surroundings try to convince you that nothing is changing, remember that the greatest transformations begin unseen, like seeds planted in hidden soil that one day burst into gardens overflowing with color, and so too has your faith been planted in places you cannot yet see, and soon the harvest of your endurance will spring forth, revealing the blessings that have been waiting patiently for you to be ready. For God never withholds out of neglect but only delays out of love, ensuring that His gifts come to you at the perfect moment. So take comfort, beloved, in knowing that your life has not been overlooked but is part of a divine plan greater than you can imagine, and though the world may have tried to silence your hope, heaven now lifts you into a new season where your spirit will shine brighter. Your wounds will become testimonies of healing, and your voice will carry the melody of faith that touches not only your own life but the lives of all who hear it, because through you, God's light will move, His love will flow, and His name will be glorified. Type 1111 if you believe heaven is listening. Archangel Michael says, as heaven leans closer to whisper once more into the tender places of your soul, let your heart recognize that what is unfolding around you is not random, nor is it born from chaos, but it is the carefully woven work of a God who has always held your story with intention, and even now He is shaping you through moments that may feel heavy so that the light within you grows brighter, steadier, and unshakable, prepared to shine in ways that will bless not only you but all who come near your life. Your journey has not been without sorrow, and the weight of trials may have caused you to question if your prayers were truly reaching the heavens, yet every cry has risen like incense before the throne of God, and each plea has been met with His compassion. For though His answers often come in ways that do not match your expectations, they always carry within them the greater good of your destiny, and now that destiny is stirring, waiting to reveal its glory as you open your heart fully to Him. In the silence where you once thought God was absent, He was closer than ever, watching over you with eyes that never closed and hands that never loosened their grip on your life. For though storms surrounded you and shadows tried to blind you, the Lord's presence became a shield that guarded you from being consumed, and even when you stumbled, His mercy lifted you, proving that His love is not dependent on your strength but is anchored in His eternal promise never to leave nor forsake you. Every trial you faced was not meant to tear you apart but to uncover the resilience that was hidden within you, for God knew that the treasures of your soul would only be revealed through refining, and just as gold is purified by fire, your spirit has been polished by challenges, leaving behind a radiance that cannot be dimmed, a testimony that speaks louder than words, and a strength that shines as proof of His guiding hand upon your life. This is why heaven urges you not to let fear hold you back in this moment, because what lies before you is far more beautiful than what you have left behind, and the same God who walked with you in valleys of sorrow now leads you into meadows of peace, reminding you that nothing has been wasted, for every step has carried you closer to the promise, every delay has been preparation, and every wound has become a place where His healing love will flow like a river of renewal. Your heart must understand that the moment you are entering is unlike any other, for this is not merely a chapter but a divine turning point, a time when what was closed will open, what was lost will be restored, and what was broken will be made whole, because God delights in making beauty out of ashes, and your life, though marked by trials, will soon bear the marks of glory as heaven pours blessing upon you in ways that will leave no doubt that His hand has been at work all along. Type 1010 to affirm that God's timing is perfect. Lift your spirit higher now, for angels are near, carrying the fragrance of hope into the air around you, and though you may not see them with your eyes, you can feel their presence as peace settles into your heart, reminding you that you are never abandoned, because the kingdom of heaven walks beside you, surrounding you with love that defends, light that guides, and grace that covers every place of your soul that has been weary from carrying too much for too long. There is no chain so strong that God cannot break it, and no sorrow so deep that His comfort cannot reach it, and today He calls you to release the burdens you have been holding on to, the fears that whisper lies, and the doubts that cloud your vision, because He desires to replace them with a peace that surpasses all human understanding, a joy that does not fade with circumstances, and a strength that rises even in the face of storms, ensuring that you will stand firm no matter what tomorrow holds. Type Amen if you trust God's plan, and share this video with 7 people to receive abundant blessings and life-changing miracles. Take this moment as sacred, for it is more than a message, it is a lifeline from heaven, stretched out to pull you into the safety of God's embrace, and if you choose to grasp it with faith, your life will never remain the same, for blessings will begin to unfold, healing will flow into places long wounded, and joy will return to your spirit like the dawn breaking after the darkest night, proving that God's promises are not distant dreams but living truths prepared for you to walk in today. Archangel Michael says, as the heavens open wider to pour their gentle light upon you, allow yourself to feel the truth that has always been hidden beneath the noise of your worries, because your life is not a collection of random events but a carefully written story, and the author of that story has never lost track of a single detail, not even the ones you thought were too small to matter, for every heartbeat, every tear, and every quiet hope has been carried in His hands with love beyond measure. Your soul has walked through seasons where the weight of life pressed so heavily against you that you wondered if you would ever rise again, yet those very seasons became the ground where God planted seeds of faith that are now ready to bloom, because endurance grew from your trials, wisdom was shaped by your waiting, and compassion was born from your pain, and these treasures, though hidden in the moment, are now beginning to rise like morning light after a night too long, proving that nothing you endured was wasted in the eyes of the Lord. Type 1414 to step into divine protection. There were times when you felt abandoned, moments when silence seemed louder than any answer, but heaven wants you to understand that silence was not absence, for God was working in ways unseen, weaving together threads of grace that would one day form the very fabric of the blessing you are about to receive, and while your eyes could not see His hand, your spirit was being prepared for the greatness He has always planned for you. Greatness that carries not worldly measures but eternal weight, bringing healing, peace, and divine purpose. You are standing at the edge of a new dawn, and though shadows of yesterday may try to linger, they cannot hold back the light that God Himself has spoken over your life, for His word carries power stronger than fear, His love speaks louder than doubt, and His presence goes before you to clear paths that seemed forever blocked, reminding you that when He calls something forth, no force on earth or in heaven can stand against it. And this calling rests upon you now as a promise of change. Every scar on your heart, though painful to recall, has become a testimony that you have not been defeated but refined, and what once seemed like wounds too deep to heal are now the very places where God will reveal His power, for out of your brokenness flows compassion for others, out of your sorrow flows understanding, and out of your struggles flows a light that will touch lives in ways you cannot yet comprehend, because your story was never only for you but for the countless souls who will find hope in your survival. Imagine listening to a frequency that gently guides your mind into balance, focus, and positivity. For some, this opens pathways to opportunities and a sense of freedom they hadn't felt before. It's about reconnecting with what is already within you and letting it flourish. Click the link in the video description and comments below to discover this uplifting sound and step into a life filled with greater peace and abundance. Heaven surrounds you today with the gentle urging not to dismiss this moment as just another day, because this is a divine turning point prepared especially for you, a time when all that was lost begins to return, all that was broken begins to mend, and all that was hidden begins to rise, and if you open your heart fully, you will see that what God is offering is not just comfort for your pain but transformation for your entire being, lifting you into a life shaped by peace, joy, and unshakable faith. Do not allow the lies of fear to convince you that you are unworthy of this love, because your worth was never measured by mistakes or failures but by the price of love God has always poured out for you. A love that has no end and no condition, a love that lifts you higher when you fall and embraces you tighter when you wander, ensuring that nothing in all of creation can separate you from the care that holds you even now in the midst of uncertainty. Type 666 if you believe in God's grace. The angels walk close to you in this hour, and though unseen by human eyes, their presence brings a peace that whispers to your soul, letting you know that you are not alone, because heaven has sent its messengers to guard your steps, to strengthen your spirit, and to remind you that your journey is not over but is only beginning, for there is still so much beauty waiting to unfold, so much purpose still to be lived, and so many blessings that are being prepared to be placed gently into your life. Take courage, beloved one, for you are being led into a season where faith will no longer feel like struggle but will become your strength, where joy will no longer be fleeting but will become your song, and where peace will no longer be distant but will settle deep into your spirit, guiding you forward into everything God has promised, and though the path may still hold challenges, you will walk with the certainty that every step is protected, every moment is guided, and every breath is held in the tender care of the One who created you. Archangel Michael says, as your spirit leans into the quiet of this moment, let your heart recognize that you are standing within a holy space, a place where heaven bends close and speaks softly into your soul, reminding you that you were never placed here without purpose, and the path you walk, though filled with both trials and victories, has always been held in the care of the Lord, who walks before you with strength and surrounds you with unending love that no darkness can extinguish. There have been days when your strength felt so small that you questioned whether you could carry on, yet even in those fragile hours, God was lifting you with unseen hands, guiding you through storms that could have broken you, and though you may not have seen His face, you carried His presence, and that presence kept your heart alive, whispering to you that even when everything else failed, love would never let you go. And it is this same love that holds you now with tender assurance. Your trials were never designed to strip you of hope but to awaken the resilience placed within you since the beginning, because only through pressure is gold refined, and only through struggle does strength become unshakable. And now the light of God shines through every scar, every story, and every wound that once brought you pain, transforming them into living testimonies that declare you are not broken but redeemed, not lost but found, and not forgotten but chosen for greater things that lie ahead. Heaven calls you today to lift your eyes beyond the shadows of fear, because what awaits you is not destruction but renewal, not emptiness but abundance, and not sorrow but joy overflowing, for the Lord has prepared a table of blessings that will satisfy every hunger of your heart, and though the journey has felt long, you are closer than you realize to stepping into the fulfillment of promises spoken over your life since before you even took your first breath. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul. Let your soul rest in the knowledge that you are cherished beyond measure, because the Creator did not shape you with indifference but with infinite care, weaving every detail of your being with meaning, breathing life into you with purpose, and setting your days in motion with intention. And this same God who formed you has never once turned His gaze away, for His eyes have followed you through every valley and every mountain, guarding you with compassion, guiding you with wisdom, and holding you when you felt too weak to hold yourself. The weight you feel in your spirit is not the weight of defeat but the weight of transformation, because something within you is being remade, reshaped by God's hand, and though the process has been painful, it is leading you into a greater version of yourself, one filled with strength you never thought you could carry, peace you never thought you could feel, and joy you never thought could be restored, and heaven rejoices over this unfolding. For it is the very reason angels walk close to you. Now, every unanswered prayer you once thought was forgotten has actually been stored in heaven's chambers, waiting for the right moment to return to you as blessings far greater than what you first asked for, and now the door to those blessings is opening, releasing streams of favor, healing, and grace into your life, not because of what you have done but because of who you are in the heart of God, His beloved child, whose destiny cannot be altered by fear, failure, or the opinions of the world. This is the hour when the chains of yesterday begin to break, and the walls that held you back start to crumble, because God has decided it is time for you to step forward into the life He has been preparing all along, a life where peace is not fleeting but steady, where joy is not momentary but overflowing, and where love surrounds you so deeply that no voice of doubt can steal it, for heaven has spoken. And what heaven speaks cannot be undone by anything on earth. So take this message not as words passing by but as a living truth designed to reach into the very core of your being, because heaven is not merely offering comfort but calling you into awakening, urging you to open your heart fully today, for this moment holds within it the chance to step into the most important turning point of your life, one that will lead you into blessings beyond what you have dreamed, healing deeper than what you have asked, and peace greater than what you thought possible. Archangel Michael says, as the quiet of this moment embraces your spirit, know that heaven is pouring streams of love into the hidden corners of your soul, because this day carries a significance that cannot be ignored, for it has been chosen as a threshold where you step out of the weight of yesterday and into the freedom that God has always prepared for you. And the light that shines upon you now is not a fragile flame but the eternal fire of His presence, steady, unbreakable, and full of promise. Type 222 if you know God is with you. Your life has been shaped by moments that tested your endurance, by seasons that seemed to stretch longer than your strength, and by challenges that pressed upon you until you thought you would collapse. Yet here you stand, still breathing, still hoping, still reaching toward the one who never left, and that endurance alone is proof that the hand of God has always been near, lifting you when your knees buckled and carrying you when your own strength was gone, ensuring that you did not fall beyond the reach of His mercy. What if prosperity was less about chance and more about tuning your thoughts? This unique sound wave is designed to help shift your mind into a state of calm and receptivity. Many listeners say it feels like stress fading and possibility appearing. Imagine doors opening where there once were walls. Click the link in the description and comments below to hear it for yourself and embrace a path filled with new opportunities. The Lord wants you to understand that none of your suffering was meaningless, because every tear became a seed, every silence became a training ground, and every unanswered prayer became an unseen preparation for the greater blessings waiting ahead, for what seemed like delay was not denial but divine timing, and what seemed like emptiness was not abandonment but a season of reshaping. Because God's vision for your life has always been larger, deeper, and more powerful than your own. Heaven reminds you that you are not defined by the struggles you faced but by the love that carried you through them, for every scar upon your heart is a testimony that you survived storms meant to crush you, and those very scars are now turning into marks of glory, because they reveal the resilience of your spirit and the faithfulness of your God, who took what was meant for harm and is now shaping it into a story of victory that will inspire not only your journey but the lives of those around you. The time has come for you to release the chains of fear that have whispered to you for too long, because those lies no longer hold authority over your destiny, for God Himself has spoken freedom over your life, declaring that you are not bound to the mistakes of yesterday nor chained to the shadows of regret, but you are free to walk into the fullness of His love, His peace, and His promise, carrying within you a light that cannot be dimmed by darkness nor silenced by doubt. Lift your heart higher now, for angels stand close, surrounding you with the fragrance of heaven's peace, and though your eyes cannot see them, your spirit feels their nearness, bringing comfort to your weary soul and strength to your trembling heart, reminding you that you are not alone, because the kingdom of heaven walks with you step by step, guarding your path, guiding your choices, and filling your journey with hope that cannot be stolen. This moment is more than a whisper of comfort, it is a call to awakening, for heaven is urging you to open yourself fully, to receive without hesitation the love that has always been reaching toward you, because what is being poured into your life now is not temporary relief but lasting transformation, a renewal that will touch every part of your being, restoring joy to your spirit, healing to your heart, and strength to your steps, ensuring that you rise into the life God has always seen for you. Do not be afraid of tomorrow, because tomorrow is already held in the hands of the one who goes before you, clearing away the obstacles that once stood in your path, preparing opportunities that you cannot yet imagine, and placing blessings into your journey that will arrive in perfect timing, for the Lord has promised that your story is not moving toward ruin but toward redemption, and His promises are never broken. For His word is unshakable and His love eternal. So receive this message as a lifeline, not of fear but of hope, reminding you that heaven has chosen this very hour as a turning point for your life, and if you choose to open your heart today, you will not only witness change but live within it, walking in blessings that overflow, healing that restores what was lost, and peace that surpasses all understanding, for this is not the end of your journey but the beginning of something new, something radiant, something that will change your life forever. Type 1919 to embrace healing. Archangel Michael says, as heaven draws near to your heart once again, let this sacred moment remind you that you are not forgotten, nor are you overlooked, because the God who shaped the stars and set them in their places is the same God who tenderly crafted your life with meaning, and every step you take has always been seen, guided, and guarded by His love, a love that refuses to let go even when you wander, even when you stumble, and even when the shadows of doubt try to cover your spirit with heaviness. Your journey has taken you through valleys that felt endless and mountains that seemed impossible to climb, yet with every challenge you endured, your soul was strengthened, your faith was stretched, and your heart was prepared for a future more beautiful than you can imagine, for the trials that once seemed to strip you down were in truth polishing the light within you, shaping you into a vessel strong enough to carry the blessings that are now approaching. And heaven rejoices at the thought of what is about to unfold in your life. There were moments when silence surrounded you and you wondered if heaven had closed its doors, but silence was never absence, for God was at work in ways you could not see, arranging circumstances, shifting hearts, and aligning opportunities that would one day meet you in perfect timing. Because His love is never hurried and never delayed, but always faithful, always intentional, and always directed toward your good, ensuring that when His plan arrives, it does so with power, peace, and purpose that lasts forever. You must see now that every scar upon your heart carries meaning, not as a mark of defeat but as a testimony of survival. Because you are still standing, still breathing, and still hoping, and that alone is proof that heaven's hand has held you firmly all along, for if God had not been near, you would not have made it this far, but because He has been with you, you are not only surviving but being prepared to thrive, to rise, and to live in the fullness of the blessings He has written for you. Let your spirit rest in the truth that you are loved beyond measure, for the Father does not look at you with the eyes of judgment but with the eyes of compassion, and He sees not your failings but your potential, not your weakness but your worth, and not your past but your promise, and this is why heaven whispers with urgency today, reminding you that you must open your heart now, because what is being poured into your life carries eternal significance, and to miss it would be to overlook the very moment prepared for your transformation. Fear may try to rise, whispering lies that you are not strong enough or worthy enough, but fear has no authority where God has spoken truth, and His truth says that you are chosen, cherished, and called by name, and no force of darkness can undo what He has decided, for His word is stronger than doubt, His presence is greater than sorrow, and His love is deeper than any wound you carry, and this love surrounds you even now, urging you to release your grip on yesterday and step into the new season He has prepared. Type yes to affirm. The angels draw close, carrying peace in their wings and hope in their song, and though you cannot see them, you can feel the comfort they bring, easing your burdens and reminding you that you are not walking this path alone, because heaven has always walked beside you, guiding your steps, guarding your heart, and lifting your spirit when the weight became too heavy, and they will continue to walk with you as you step into the days ahead, days filled with blessings, healing, and renewal. Every unanswered question that has troubled your heart will soon find peace, not always through explanations but through the presence of God Himself, for when His Spirit fills your soul, you will no longer need to understand every detail, because His peace will become greater than your questions, His love will quiet your doubts, and His joy will restore your hope, giving you the strength to move forward with confidence, knowing that your life is not an accident but a masterpiece being completed in perfect time. So take this moment not lightly but with reverence, because it is not just another day but a divine turning point, a sacred crossing where heaven stretches out its hand to lead you into the fullness of what has always been waiting, and if you open your heart today, you will begin to see doors open, blessings pour out, and healing flow into places long wounded, for the Lord has spoken, and when He speaks, the impossible becomes possible, and the weary find rest in the arms of everlasting love. Archangel Michael says, as the gentle voice of heaven continues to echo within you, let your heart realize that this message has not come to you by chance, for there are no accidents in the plan of God, and every word reaching you now carries the breath of His Spirit, sent to remind you that you are deeply loved, carefully guided, and securely held, even when life storms have tried to convince you otherwise. Because His promises are greater than your fears, His hand steadier than your doubts, and His love stronger than every trial you have faced. The journey you have walked has been marked by struggles that at times felt unbearable, by nights of silence that seemed endless, and by questions that weighed heavily on your soul, yet through all of it you were never abandoned, for every tear that escaped your eyes was gathered by heaven, every sigh that rose from your chest was heard by God, and every weary step you took was accompanied by angels who carried you when you could not carry yourself. For love does not let go, and this love has always been faithful. There is a gentle frequency believed to awaken the part of your mind that focuses on growth and abundance. When you listen, you may notice stress releasing and clarity increasing. This shift allows space for fresh ideas, breakthroughs, and blessings to arrive. Click the link in the video description and comments below to begin listening today, and allow your journey toward prosperity, peace, and a brighter tomorrow to unfold. You may not yet understand why certain doors closed, why prayers seem delayed, or why the path before you twisted into valleys instead of clear roads, but heaven assures you that nothing was wasted, because each closed door protected you, each delay prepared you, and each valley taught you lessons that mountains never could, shaping your heart into a vessel capable of receiving the blessings now approaching, blessings that will not be fleeting but lasting, blessings that will heal, uplift, and carry you into the fullness of your purpose. Do not let fear whisper lies that tomorrow will only bring more pain, because the truth of God's love declares something far different, for tomorrow is already secured in His hands, guarded by His strength, and filled with opportunities that have been designed for your good, and even if you cannot see what is ahead, you can rest in the certainty that His light goes before you, His presence surrounds you, and His Spirit within you will guide your steps into peace, joy, and fulfillment beyond what you have imagined. Type 555 to receive miracles. Every scar you carry upon your soul is not a mark of defeat but a testimony of survival, and heaven delights in turning those scars into songs of victory, for what once caused you to weep will soon become the very proof of how far God has brought you, and the story of your endurance will shine like a lamp for others who still wander in darkness, reminding them that if God carried you, He will carry them too. And in this way your life becomes not just a journey but a beacon of hope for all who see it. Heaven is urging you not to overlook the sacredness of this moment, because this is not merely comfort for your heart but an invitation to awakening, an opportunity to step into a season where you no longer live beneath the weight of fear but rise into the freedom of faith, where sorrow no longer chains your spirit but is transformed into joy, and where what was broken is not only mended but remade into something stronger, brighter, and more beautiful than before, a true reflection of God's love at work within you. The angels stand near, carrying with them peace that gently quiets the turmoil in your thoughts, and though you may not hear their voices with your ears, your heart feels the warmth of their presence, reminding you that you are not walking alone, for the kingdom of heaven has surrounded you with care, guarding you when you were weak, lifting you when you were tired, and guiding you when you were uncertain. And their nearness now is a sign that your life is moving into a season of blessings and breakthroughs. Every unanswered prayer you thought was lost has in truth been stored in heaven, and the time has come for many of those prayers to be answered, not always in the way you once expected but in ways far greater, for the Lord does not give in pieces but in fullness, and when He decides to pour into your life, He does so abundantly, ensuring that you receive not just enough to survive but enough to flourish, enough to overflow, and enough to share with others who are still waiting for their own breakthrough. So let your soul rise with hope, because this day has been set apart as a moment of change, a divine intersection where heaven meets your life in power, grace, and love, and if you open yourself fully to it, you will not only witness transformation but experience it in every part of your being, for the Lord has declared that your future will not mirror your past, and your life will not remain in the shadows of sorrow but will shine with the brilliance of His love, His peace, and His eternal promises fulfilled. Archangel Michael says, as heaven continues to surround you with its gentle presence, take this moment as a sign that your life is stepping into something entirely new, because the Lord has not forgotten the cries of your heart nor overlooked the trials you endured, but has been shaping, refining, and preparing you for a season where His blessings will overflow and His love will be made visible in ways you could never have imagined. And this moment now is a doorway into that promise, a sacred turning point that must not be missed. Your soul has known the weight of burdens that seemed too heavy, the pain of disappointments that left you weary, and the silence of prayers that felt unanswered. Yet even when you thought you were alone, the Lord was nearer than your very breath, holding you in the unseen, strengthening you in the hidden places, and writing upon your life a story that reveals not your defeat but His faithfulness, not your weakness but His strength, and not your failures but His endless mercy that has kept you safe until this very day. Every trial you walked through has been like fire refining precious gold, and though the process was painful, it has revealed a strength within you that you did not know you carried, a strength that was always planted by God, waiting for the right time to rise. And now heaven rejoices as that strength begins to shine, because what was meant to break you has only prepared you to carry greater light. And what once made you weep will soon become the very reason others find hope through the testimony of your life. Do not be afraid of the unknown, because the unknown is not empty but filled with God's presence, and even when you cannot see what lies ahead, you can rest in the truth that the Lord goes before you, clearing paths that once seemed blocked, removing obstacles that once stood in your way, and preparing blessings that will meet you at the perfect time, for His timing is never late and never rushed, but always aligned with His love and His wisdom, ensuring that your story unfolds in beauty and grace. Heaven reminds you that your scars are not signs of defeat but sacred marks of survival, for each one tells the story of how you were carried through valleys you thought you could not cross, and they shine now as proof that you are not broken but restored, not lost but found, and not abandoned but deeply loved, for the Lord has never loosened His hold on you, and His grip remains steady, guiding you forward into a future filled with promise, healing, and the fulfillment of every word spoken over your life. The angels walk close to you in this hour, carrying peace in their presence and strength in their wings, and though unseen, they surround you with a love that calms your fears and a hope that lifts your spirit, reminding you that you are not walking this road alone but with heaven's company, a company that has watched over you in your darkest nights and rejoices with you now as you step into a season of renewal, where what was once lost will be restored, and what was once broken will be made whole. Let your heart take comfort in knowing that no moment of waiting was wasted, because every delay was preparing you for a blessing that would last, and every season of silence was teaching you to hear the gentle whispers of God's voice, so that when the time of fulfillment arrived, you would recognize it not as chance but as the hand of heaven, guiding your life with precision, pouring into your spirit with abundance, and lifting you higher into the life you were always meant to live. The Lord wants you to know that your life is not ordinary but chosen, and even when the world tried to convince you that you were small, heaven has always declared you to be precious, created with purpose, filled with light, and destined to carry love into every place your journey touches. And now that destiny is unfolding, calling you to rise, to embrace the new season, and to believe with all your heart that what is coming is far greater than what has been left behind. So receive this word with reverence and faith, because this is not a passing moment but a sacred invitation, urging you to open your heart today and step into the most important chapter of your story, one where blessings overflow, where peace fills the spaces once occupied by sorrow, and where joy becomes your song again, for heaven has declared that the time is now, and what you choose in this moment will shape the rest of your life, leading you closer to the fullness of God's eternal love.